key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices to see you through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right. With diet-free life, that helps futures lose sight.
What's up, everybody? This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and I am excited to be here. And today we are going to talk about something that I believe is very, very, very important, and that is dementia or Alzheimer's. Now, when people first hear me bring this up, sometimes in their mind, they're like, well, Robert, you're a nutritionist and you're talking about dementia. Is that in your lane? And I go, yes, it is. And the first thing that comes to mind for me is the relationship between increased risk of dementia to include Alzheimer's, which is often referred to as type 3 diabetes, and the relationship between what we eat, how we live our lives, and that increased risk of getting dementia or Alzheimer's. Now, neuroscientists have shared with me that only 3% of people who experience dementia is genetics. 3%. So if your mom has dementia, or your grandma or granddad had dementia, that doesn't mean that there's an increased likelihood of you getting dementia. We're talking 3% genetics. And what's interesting is that I'm going to share with you something about dementia and Alzheimer's today that most people don't know. Now, in the description below, wherever you're catching me, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever the platform is, there in the description is a link to an article that I wrote. And the article talks a lot about chronic low-grade inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, this, in my opinion, is one of the reasons we have an increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, as well as many other conditions. But I'm only going to talk about dementia right now. And I'm going to talk about Bruce Willis, who I admire as an actor, who right now has frontotemporal dementia. And he doesn't even know who he is anymore. He's only 70 years old. And I feel really sad for him. I feel sad for his daughters. I feel sad for his wife. I feel sad for all the people who love Bruce Willis. But here's the deal. There's things that Mr. Willis didn't know that could have reduced the risk of him experiencing dementia. And with all the money that he has and all of the access that he has, and I've paid close attention because I'm a fan. I've heard his doctors talk on television. I've heard his wife. She came out with a book. I supported that, got her book, watched the entire interview, which I'm going to share with you, with the wife sitting down with Oprah. And I'm no fan of Oprah. And even Oprah has no clue about what I'm going to share. Because if they did have a clue, they would have brought it up. She would have had it in her book. But what happens is when people get dementia, we start to put all the focus on how to cope ourselves if we're taking care of a family member with it. But no one's really looking at what is the cause. And we do know there's a lot of data that says a big part of the cause does touch on nutrition. And one of the culprits is fructose, which has been integrated into a lot of our foods. And I'm saying specifically high fructose corn syrup. Now, that's what they've added to the foods. I also believe that the increased addition of seed oils may potentially play a major role in increased risk of dementia also, because it throws things out of balance when we get to this thing called omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Now, we also know that with dementia and Alzheimer's and many other health conditions, that inflammation plays a major role. Same for MS, same for fibromyalgia, same for many things that people are experiencing. But we're so fast to be running around and doing things and not paying attention and think we got it going on just because of what we look like. We think that we're healthy. Not realizing that you may be suffering the same as Mr. Willis, and I believe over 90% of everybody is suffering from this and have no clue. Chronic, low-grade inflammation. And we're so much in a habit of wanting something now, buying this is going to help in a week or the same day, that we don't want to get educated. And I'm going to share with you some startling statistics. And let me tell you up front, if I was a Black person, which I am, and if I was a woman, which I'm not, I'd be paying close attention to everything I'm going to share, because there's a huge disparity. Let me give you an example. Black women are minimal 2 times more likely to get dementia in their lifetime compared to Caucasian women. Hispanic women, you're almost 2 times. Now, I have my beliefs on why that is. And the majority of the time, it's women that get dementia compared to men. And how many women can do the electric slide and they can do all the step dancing, but don't know anything about what I'm about to talk about? It's not a priority. It's not. I watched a lot of my childhood friends lose their kidneys, go on dialysis. And I've spent 30 years of my life helping people get off dialysis and save their kidneys. Do you think that they've called me or asked me to help them? No. And it's not because I'm not good at it, because I'm great at it. I'm really good at my job. There's a whole dynamic to why people don't live their best and healthiest life. I mean, I watch a whole bunch of Black women and Hispanic women and all women post some of the most unhealthy food you could ever imagine on Facebook. They are a big part of the problem, because their ignorance is putting them in a situation where they're promoting people to be unhealthy. I mean, I don't even want to go down. I mean, that's a big rabbit hole. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch a little bit, just a little bit of this interview with Oprah. And again, I'm not a fan of Oprah Winfrey at all, not even a kinda. And I saw this and I was like, you know what? I watched maybe 3 minutes. And I was like, I want to watch this with you guys and pause it as though we're together and share with you how disgusted I get along the way. And at the same time, share information that I believe could help you as the conversation goes on. And you can go to Oprah's channel and you can watch the full interview, because we're not going to watch the whole thing. But my goal is to share with you some data and spend a little time with you as it pertains to this topic. And again, I'm not gaslighting, and just, Bruce Willis is as a public figure. He's a celebrity, and I'm a big fan. In no way would I be like highlighting Bruce Willis to get people to click. I want people to click on this conversation and to share this conversation so that other people can be aware of this, because there's things that we can all do to reduce the risk of experiencing dementia, to include Alzheimer's. And no one seems to be talking about these things that we can do. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me talk about it. Okay, here we go. Let's bring up Oprah Winfrey. And there we go, Oprah. Now I got to get her to talk. Okay.
Hello, and thank you. Thanks for joining me on this Oprah podcast. It's wonderful having you here, where we're talking about things that I believe matter in the world. And it is my hope that the conversations that we're having are impactful for your life. That's why I'm doing it. Listen to this. It is estimated that 40 million people in the United States alone are caregiving for a family member.
Okay, let me pause. That is not true. That is not true. It's about 10 to 11 million, not 40 million. Now, 10 million is a lot of people, and it is growing, but it's not 40 million. And this is what I mean. Who's producing for Oprah? Lord, help these people. That's a big number. I mean, she could have put 10 million and it still would have touched us, because most of us have somebody in our family that has gotten dementia, or we've been around it a little bit, or we're going through it right now. Okay, dementia is real. Okay, let's keep it going.
And that number is on the rise. So chances are that most of you watching or listening will one day be faced with caring for a spouse, if you're not already, or caring for an elderly parent, if you're not already, or a child. We know from research that caregiving can have significant emotional, physical, and financial impacts on those who are taking on that huge responsibility. And I'm joined by someone who knows this all too well.
Let me pause and just let me tell you, I have an aunt, and I saw this happen with my grandma years ago when I was a little kid. But I have an aunt named Barbara, who I love, and she was very inspirational in my life. She was one of those aunts. She married my uncle, so she married into the family. And I remember she not graduated, but she retired as a school teacher. She's in her 50s, and shortly after that, she got dementia. She was diagnosed with dementia. And my uncle, who is an amazing man, takes care of her every day. I mean, even though it's really, really bad watching it, it's been a blessing to watch my uncle be the man that I would want to be. I mean, I'm serious. He is the kind of man that you want to marry, because she's not in a home. He takes care of her every step of the way. And he had just retired. So since he's retired, all his time and energy every day, I mean, think about it, in your 50s, has been to stand by his woman and be in her corner. And when I see my Aunt Barbara, she just stares. She doesn't know any of us. She's now in her 70s. And man, I don't wish that on anybody. Okay, so what Oprah just said, it is happening. And if you're not currently dealing with it, you're probably going to deal with it. Or maybe you have already. Okay. Now she's going to bring up Emma Willis, who wrote the book. This is Bruce Willis' wife, who I believe is in her 50s, and Bruce Willis is 70 years of age at this moment.
New book, The Unexpected Journey, chronicles her story of caring for her husband, actor Bruce Willis, who was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia in 2023. Welcome, Emma Hemming Willis.
It's nice to see you.
To the Tea House.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Emma Hemming Willis, and my husband Bruce Willis was diagnosed, with frontotemporal dementia in the fall of 2022.
In 2023, Emma Hemming Willis and her family released a statement announcing her husband, one of America's favorite action heroes and adored Hollywood movie star Bruce Willis, was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, or FTD.
FTD is a very difficult and unkind diagnosis.
Doctors say FTD is a rare type of dementia that affects the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain and can slowly change a person's cognitive abilities, their behavior, or their ability to speak. The Willis family statement read, "Challenges with communication are just one symptom of the disease Bruce faces."
Our family is in a unique position to raise awareness, and I knew that we needed to be a part of the long-term solution.
Emma is a former model and actress, now a wife, mother, author, and advocate. She has written a new book sharing her experiences as her husband Bruce's caregiver. It's called The Unexpected Journey.
Okay, real quick, I just want to pause it for a second. I bought the book and I read the book. And I was sad because every page I'm turning and I'm hoping someone is going to mention chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, it didn't surprise me not to see it because I have a lot of friends who are physicians and they don't know. So just because you're a doctor, I mean, and this is not a dig on doctors. This is just the truth, because we grew up, or I grew up in a world where we assume doctors know things. Well, they don't. And so you got all these books that keep coming out, and even this book, and no one is talking about the role of chronic low-grade inflammation. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Right? So if you think about the brain, okay, I want you to think about your brain, because that's what we're talking about, this going through it, right? If you look at the brain, 50 to 60% of the weight of the brain is made up of fat. Okay, fat. And a large portion of that fat is in the form of an omega-3 fatty acid called DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. So let's say DHA. And when you don't have enough DHA in your brain, which is about 90-something% of everybody, even those of you who are like watching me share this information, you probably don't. And when you don't have enough, it can show up in a various amount of conditions. It could be brain fog. You could have moments where your memory's not as good. It could be ADHD, autism, dementia, and Alzheimer's, because you don't have enough of this DHA in your brain. And they're not speaking to that in this book and in this interview. This is what makes it like mind-blowing to me, because you get someone like Oprah, she's got producers, you got all of these people all getting paid a good amount of money. And you would think, well, I mean, I know better, but to give them the benefit of the doubt, you would think that they would actually know about what I'm talking about. Why am I sharing this information that if you go vet it out, you're going to go, Robert's right. I know I'm right. That's why I made an article available with 24 citations. You can read the article. Chronic low-grade inflammation is real. And over a long period of time, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, certain things start to show up because you're not deficient to where it's going to cause a disease or a collapse, but you are living with a insufficiency because of the way the food structure and the way the world is. And we know this modern day because of testing. Guys, you can't, this is crazy. Okay, let's just watch a little bit more. And if you want to watch the whole interview, I believe that I made my point, and then I'll give you some direction on how you can find out if you may be low in your omegas in your brain, because there's a quick, easy test you can do at home. And if you get ahead of it before you get diagnosed with something, that could be a good thing. Okay, let's watch a little bit more.
Finding strength, hope, and yourself on the caregiving path. Emma begins the book with a heartfelt message for readers and caregivers. She says, "My hope is that this book can be a lifeline for you." And I know so many of you who are listening and watching us today are caregivers who need a lifeline.
Okay, let me pause one more time. So the part I don't like about the book is that it focuses on that, which is good, right? Because we all want to have support. We all want to feel like it's okay to go spend some time by yourself when your spouse or the person you're taking care of, you know, is going through it. Yeah. So I like that part. But again, for me, it's like, that's just putting a Band-Aid on it. Let's talk about what is probably causing this constant increase in more and more people being diagnosed with various types of dementia, right? So dementia is the top, and there's various types of dementia, right? And one of them is called Alzheimer's, which is the most popular one. Okay, let's watch a little bit more, and I promise I'll close it out.
I really appreciate what you said writing this book, that it is the book that you wish that someone had placed in your hands as you were getting the diagnosis for Bruce.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that day and the day after. But first, I hope you don't mind if we start with the part of the book where you focus on your love story,
Oh, yeah.
how it all started.
Yeah. I mean, I met Bruce at our trainers, Gunnar Peterson. And, you know, our time started sort of overlapping.
Okay, I know Gunnar Peterson. Very successful trainer in LA. Had an infomercial. That's how I got to know who Gunnar was. Okay, I'm going to be done with this. If you want to watch the whole interview, the love story is great. She definitely loves Bruce, and I commend her. But what I want you guys to do, well, you know what? Let's watch a little bit more.
And I got to know him, and I got to see just what a down-to-earth, humble person he was. So our relationship didn't really take off until many years later, actually. And then our paths crossed again.
So that first meeting, nothing happened. Then you met him years later.
Yeah.
And he invited you to a weekend with his family.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a weekend. It was come celebrate New Year's with us.
Okay, come celebrate New Year's.
Yeah. At Turks and Caicos, come out for a week with my ex-wife, her husband at the time, and my 3 daughters.
Okay. You know what? It's a beautiful story. Man, you know what? I am a fan of Bruce Willis. I really am. And to hear how he is, as a dad of 5 daughters, I have 2, just a beautiful story. But here's the take home, right? So when I'm looking at the data, and I just want to share this with you, and then we're done. I was like, okay, well, what are major contributors to getting dementia, right? Because the goal is like, none of us want it. And, there's certain things that can build up called beta amyloid plaques. And we talk about this all the time because when you are living with insufficient amounts of omega-3, which is a fatty acid that most people aren't getting enough of, then you have increased amount of the beta amyloid plaques. So make sure you get enough omega-3s. Vascular damage, which is reduced blood flow to the brain. That can be from high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. Some of us or some people have small strokes. Is deprived neurons of oxygen and nutrients, which can lead to what they call vascular dementia. Okay, so what can I do as far as blood flow? Well, workout, exercise. If you have high blood pressure, let's get it under control. Type 2 diabetes, let's reverse it, and etc. Number 3, chronic low-grade inflammation, which you've heard me talk about. That's ongoing inflammation in the body that's not being addressed. And you want to increase your omega-3s, that will help with that. Cell membrane rigidity and nutrient deficiency. So when your membranes, right, your cells, the membranes lose fluidity, which is often because you have a low amount of omega-3s and you have a high amount of omega-6 in the membrane, and you definitely lack polyphenols in the membrane. Cells can't communicate or detox properly. Like our cells want to detox, they can't detox properly. And that increases the risk of neurodegeneration. Okay. We talk about this all the time. This is like 9th grade biology. And a lot of this could be fixed just to make sure that you don't find yourself low in your omega-3 fatty acid consumption. Insulin resistance, type 3 diabetes, that means impaired insulin signaling in the brain reduces its ability to use glucose in your brain. Glucose is sugar in your brain. Again, omega-3s are going to play a big role in this. Genetics, which I told you is that's low, like 3%. And then, of course, lifestyle, right? So if you smoke, indulge in alcohol a lot, play sports where there's a lot of head trauma, your sleep is crazy, you don't work out, none of that's going to help. Now, most of us are doing a pretty decent job. But if you're not getting an adequate amount of omega-3s, which most people aren't, and I know this because there's an easy test I can give you, then you'll know and you can do something about it. So the goal is to reduce the risk of the things that you can reduce the risk for. Don't wait until you get dementia and then think, oh man, I better do it. I remember that guy, Robert Ferguson, was saying, don't wait, get ahead of it. Okay. Anyway, check out the entire interview. Beautiful love story. I'm Robert Ferguson. This is Diary Free Life. It's a sad update, but it's an exciting update because I want you to know about this. So cell membrane fluidity is very important. And in the test that we make available, you can find that out. Okay. And you can find out if you're low on omega-3 and if you're getting too much omega-6 fatty acids, which most people are. And we can correct that like immediately. And not only do you reduce the risk of such horrible things like dementia, you improve your situation in a big way where you reduce the risk for a whole host of health challenges that people are experiencing. So read the article. Okay, you can print it out. I have a link there. You can print it, sit down with a cup of coffee, put it on your phone as a PDF, put on your iPad, your tablet, and just have a quiet moment and read it. And if you have questions, reach out to me because I wrote it for you to be informed and aware. And once you're informed and aware, then you can do something about your situation. That's it. All right, you guys. I'm Robert Ferguson. I share because I care. And my prayers go out to Mr. Willis because he definitely seems to be that person that is amazing. And blessings to his beautiful daughters, his wives, Demi Moore from the past, his new wife, who I compliment you for writing this book. I commend you for that. And reach out to me if you have questions. Gunner, reach out to Gunner. He has my contact information, and I would love to help you out and give you some tips and ideas when it pertains to nutrition. We're talking food as medicine, right? Learn how to eat so you can optimize health now and for the rest of your life, because it does matter. And that goes to saying that Hippocrates was right. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. All right. I got to go. Peace out.
New way to see. No more counting calories, just living free. Robert Ferguson's got the plan you need. With diet-free life, it's the key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices that see you through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feels so right.